Hey everybody, welcome to our channel, where we bring you the most amazing and inspiring stories from all over the world. So make sure to stay tuned, because we've got a great story for you today. This story shows us that sometimes we need to pay attention to the advice we were given, because it could save us from a lot of trouble in the future. Our protagonist ignored the advice of her grandmother and thought that she knew better. But soon she found out that life can be very unpredictable, and sometimes we have to face consequences that we did unexpect. The good news is that she realized her mistakes and took responsibility for them. And if we are able to learn from our mistakes, then we are truly wise. So let's jump into the story without any further ado. The flickering candlelight danced in her grandmother's wrinkled eyes, painting stories that went beyond words. Yet 21-year-old Emily couldn't comprehend the depth of those tales. All she saw were wrinkles and age. To her, her grandmother's words were slow, outdated, irrelevant. These stories won't help me succeed, she often thought. One evening, while the rest of the world glittered with neon lights, Emily sat across from her grandmother. The air was thick with cinnamon and old books, a scent that always brought comfort to her. But tonight, even that couldn't soothe her restless spirit. Her grandmother began, her voice like rustling leaves in the village square. A young woman mocked a beggar, little knowing they were blessed by fortune. Soon after, a king's procession arrived, and when the king heard of her unkindness, he banished her from the kingdom. Emily sighed, pushing the worn quilt aside. Grandma, we don't live in a fairy tale. People aren't blessed by fortune, and kings don't banish people from kingdoms anymore. That's just not how things work, she said, rolling her eyes at her grandmother's stories. Her grandmother paused, her gaze drifting into the past. Ah, Emily, you may think you're immune from such stories, but trust me, life has its own ways of teaching lessons. Remember, my dear, life is a mirror. It reflects what you put into it. Her words hung in the air, unspoken promises on the wind. Emily nodded, though her actions screamed rebellion. She craved the city's symphony, the bustling energy of life there. Cheat. Longed for a career, for recognition, for the applause of success. The following morning, with the sunrise still shyly peeking over the horizon, Emily left her grandmother's house. She clutched her dreams in her chest, determined to conquer the world. Her ambition burned bright, fueling her drive to excel in the world of fashion. Years passed in a whirlwind. Emily's star ascended rapidly in the fashion cosmos. Magazines showcased her designs, celebrities donned her creations, and accolades piled up like fallen leaves in autumn. Yet amidst the glitter and the gloss, she remained cold and distant. She kept everyone at arm's length, including her loyal and loving boyfriend, Josh, who urged her to slow down and appreciate the journey. But she couldn't. Not when she was so close to her goal. One day, she chanced upon a talented young designer named Laura. Emily recognized raw talent in her and offered her an internship at her company. Laura was thrilled. She was eager to learn from the best. However, Emily had a different agenda. She saw Laura's designs and secretly incorporated them into her own collections. Laura, too busy and naive to notice, poured her heart and soul into her work. Meanwhile, Emily's life was a whirlwind of parties, fancy dinners, and endless photo shoots. She reveled in the spotlight, basking in the admiration of thousands. She traveled to exotic locales for fashion weeks, staying at luxurious hotels and rubbing shoulders with the Delilah of society. But behind the dazzling facade, something shifted. A hollowness echoed within Emily's heart, a void that no amount of success could fill. In the quiet moments, she'd replay her grandmother's stories, each word a tiny pebble placed on a path leading to her present reality. Then the storm arrived. A former intern exposed her unethical practices, her deceit, and her toxic work environment. In an instant, Emily's world crumbled. Sponsors pulled out. Clients vanished. Fashion houses she once graced no longer returned her calls. The pedestal she stood on shattered, bringing her crashing down. Devastated and alone, she returned home, defeated. The familiar scent of cinnamon and old books enveloped her, bringing both comfort and a deep sense of shame. Looking at her frail grandmother, Emily felt a surge of remorse. She had ignored her grandmother's timeless wisdom, paying heed instead to the allure of fame and fortune. "Why didn't I listen?" she whispered, tears blurring her vision. Her grandmother, her eyes filled with compassion, replied softly, "You had to walk your own path, Emily, to realize the value of my stories. But now that you're here, let's pick up the pieces together." In the coming days, Emily immersed herself in her grandmother's stories once more. Each tale was a life lesson, a reminder about empathy, integrity, and the importance of human connections. The stories resonated deeply within her, planting seeds of wisdom that promised to grow. One day, Emily decided to visit Laura, who was now working with another prominent fashion house. She approached Laura with humility, acknowledging her past mistakes, and offering a sincere apology. To her surprise, Laura forgave her, recognizing that everyone makes mistakes. Together, they decided to collaborate on a project, combining their talents and learning from each other. Slowly but surely, Emily rebuilt her life. She started a new fashion label, one that was rooted in sustainability, diversity, and fair labor practices. Her designs, once copied, were now original and celebrated for their uniqueness. She became a mentor, guiding aspiring young designers, sharing her knowledge and experience to help them avoid the pitfalls she had fallen into. Word of her transformation spread, drawing attention from both the fashion world and the media. She was invited to speak at universities and events, sharing her story as a cautionary tale and an inspiration. As the years rolled by, Emily blossomed into a woman who was not only successful but also content. Her relationships deepened with those who truly mattered, her friends, her colleagues, and yes, even her grandmother. She learned that true success lay not in fleeting fame, but in the richness of character, compassion, and the bonds of humanity. One breezy afternoon, Emily sat beside her grandmother in the garden. The setting sun painted the sky in hues of orange and purple. She smiled, thinking about how far she had come. "Grandma, I used to think your stories were old and outdated. But now I realize they are timeless. Talk me about life, about kindness, about standing up for what's right." "I'm so grateful for you," she confessed, her voice thick with emotion. Her grandmother squeezed her hand, her eyes twinkling with love and understanding. "All right, Emily. We all have our journeys to wisdom. What matters is that you found your way back. Remember, life is a mirror. Reflect on your actions, embrace your mistakes, and keep telling your own story. You are the author of your life, and your story is far from over." As the twilight deepened, they sat in comfortable silence, two generations connected by love, wisdom, and the fading light of day. And that's the end of the story. Now, if you like this story, do you want to forget to leave a thumbs up and subscribe? so you never miss out on our latest uploads. Also, please feel free to leave a comment below with your thoughts, feedback, or any stories you'd like to hear next. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.